So let's talk about the state of the Mag 7. There are some people who say that term, that moniker should go away, and saying not everybody who's in the Mag 7, especially they've talked about Tesla, for instance. So who in the Mag 7 still belongs there? Like, how many deserve the distinction, and what should it be called next then?
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't, we shouldn't be investing on catchy acronyms or things like that. I think the point is that forget the Mag 7 and think that there is value to be had in other parts of the market. Sectors that I think that are attractive are definitely within energy. I think the commodity sector is attractive. I think the market is very concerned about what's going on in China. The Chinese economy is under very real pressure, and commodities are definitely have been one of the hallmark to as a read-through of what's going on in China. And I think that sell-off has actually produced opportunities because many of the commodity-related stocks are really trading at a big discount to where the actual commodity prices are. And I would add energy companies to that in addition to what's going on in copper, what's going on in gold, and some of the other commodity sectors out there. These companies in general are very focused on repairing their balance sheets or having strong balance sheets. They've done a lot of the repairing and are rewarding shareholders by growing their dividend and or buying back stock. So, we think, although the market is very, very focused, obviously, on anything AI driven, anything tech driven, any companies that are very much focused that are being backstopped by this momentum type trade, there's value and there's a lot of attractive long-term value in commodity plays right now.
Is the market having too much tunnel vision right now? Is it too focused on tech?
Yeah, I think so, but it's you can't really blame people too much when 30% of the S&P 500 is in one sector, technology, and then when you add communication services and some of these other where these Mag 7 stocks live, it comes out to nearly 40% of the index. So if managers are being benchmarked to an index and it's so concentrated to that, you can't fault people for investors in the short term from piling into that trade, but you have to focus more in the longer term and see where there is value to be had, and look to other sectors outside of tech. And I think if you could take the longer term, if you look out 2 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, there's value to be had today for sure.
And then what red flags would you be looking for that could potentially trip up this market?
Yeah, I think that the key that everyone asks is, okay, well, what's the red flag? What trips up the AI story? And for me is, those chip companies, the microchip companies that are selling these AI chips, if their inventory starts to build, or the hint that their inventory is building, and therefore they can't command basically any price they want for, and basically are no longer selling everything on the shelf, then the AI story will buckle. It's that moment that these companies are not selling all of their inventory for whatever price they want, and at some point the buyers become a bit more discerning and say, okay, I'm good at this point in time, and then you will have that AI story turn around and reverse. So that's what I'm looking for.
And then I want to go back to something you said earlier. You talked about the energy sector as being a sector that you like. What are the sectors that you are kind of wary of or steering clear of?
I've still been baffled by the resiliency of the consumer, and that's where I use that that YOLO mentality, because the consumer seems to be spending. Although unemployment is good, it seems to be the employment rate has been strong, although it does seem to be weakening a bit here. People do have jobs. Inflation is coming down. Gasoline prices are contained, which helps the consumer. I've been surprised by how resilient the consumer has been, even though it has blown through its COVID savings rate. And that's the sector that I think the consumer stocks have rallied strongly over the past 4 or 5 months. And that's where I'm more cautious on fundamentals and valuation.
It has been amazing to watch the strength of the consumer, and I've heard this before, never underestimate, particularly the American consumer. All right, we're going to have to put a pin in our conversation, though. John Petrides, Portfolio Manager at Tocqueville Asset Management. Thank you, John.